Hello there, you gorgeous people! We are almost done with the series. We're gonna do 3 more parts and then we're gonna move on to more project-based tutorials. So all the things that you love are coming up next. Hopefully this series so far has given you a bit more comfort into using JavaScript. And yeah, I hope you're ready for more. Let's get started. Today we're gonna learn a bit about objects and the keyword this. So I'm gonna cover all the basics and I'm not gonna go super crazy into the keyword this because it's gonna be so confusing that your head's gonna hurt. And I remember when I first started, it took me such a long time to understand the keyword this. So if you don't get it from the start, don't worry, just don't worry. It's a bit tricky. So let's create an object. So the way we can create an object is by writing const user. So the same way we create a variable or an array, and we use the squiggly brackets. And in here, we can have things that are kind of like variables, but we don't call them variables, we call them properties with different values. So you can imagine that you have like a website and you want to have a user. So that would be an object that's going to have like something called a name with a string, like so. So name, then you add the double dots and just a string. You can also have numbers in here. Age 24. You can also have a boolean, married, we're gonna add false, and you can also have an array. So purchases, purchases. I'm not even sure if that's correct, but we're gonna move on. So we bought a phone, we bought a car, because we have a lot of money, but we actually don't. A laptop. There we go. So we can create a user like so. How do we access different properties inside this user though? Let's say I want to get the purchases that this specific user made. Well, let's console log. We can use user.purchases. And as you can see, we also have highlighting in here, which is really nice. User.purchases. Hit save, take a look, and look at that. We get back the list of the purchases. Hey, that's the basics of objects. We can also have something called, we can also add like functions in here that are specific to this object. And those things are called methods. And I talked a bit about methods in the previous videos, but yeah, that's basically it. It's just functions. Oh, my voice cracked. Functions that are attached to an object. Those are methods. Okay, let's dive a bit. Before we dive a bit into the methods, I kind of want to dive a bit into the keyword this, and then we're gonna kind of put everything together, and hopefully it's gonna make sense. So let's take a look at this. So by default, if we console log this, we are gonna get something called the window object. So it's just one object that has everything that you can do in JavaScript pretty much in the browser. So as you can see, it has so many functions or methods in here. And something I want to let you know is when you create a function, so even things that you create, so this is just an example here, console log Apple, before our code even runs, this keyword gets created and the window object gets created inside JavaScript. So before everything runs, those two things get created, and this function is going to be saved in memory and it's going to be attached to our window object. So if we take a look at this window object again, you're going to see that our apples function is attached. It's in here, it's saved in memory. A lot of things that we even use so far. Now the thing is that we don't need to write window, like window.apples. We can just call apples. So like so. But this is gonna work as well. So we're gonna get console log apple up here. And you're gonna see familiar things that we use so far. So console hey, we use this. We use console.log. There we go. We also have console.info. So you have a bunch of things. Basically everything that we use so far is basically on this huge window object. So this is by default gonna refer to window. Okay, under no context. If we just write this, it's gonna be the window object. Cool, but what if we wanna reference the name in here, or purchases, or age? Well, the way we do that is, let's delete this, and we're gonna get back to this. We can create a function in here. We're gonna say name, and it's gonna be a function. And if we console log this in here, and we're gonna call this function. So how do we call this function? Well, the same way we access the different properties in here, user.sayName. Now you're gonna see that the keyword this is gonna be the object. So if I wanna get the name, I write this dot name, and then we're gonna get the name. Okay, now the key difference is what I want to let you know is the keyword this means nothing here so far. When the function actually gets invoked, that's when the keyword this is going to be assigned to something. And the easiest way of telling what this is by looking at where you invoke your function and looking at the left of the dot. So here we have user. So we look at the function that we invoke and we look at the left of it and then we see user. So this is going to mean user. And to show you a normal function, like say my age, if we console log this, let's say my age is this. Well, here, if we invoke the function, say my age, well, we don't have anything to our left here. So it automatically, it's gonna default to the window object. So this is gonna be the window object in here. So again, just look at where you invoke your function, look at your left, and you're gonna know what this is. So yeah, that's the basics of objects and the keyword this. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If it helped in any way, please drop a subscribe, and I will see you super excited tomorrow in the next one. Bye bye.